Okay guys, we're training for the South Thailand Motocross Championship, and if you want to see where we're training, you can look in the description below. There's going to be a link. And now we're going to talk about something that I don't hear explained in much detail, and that is 4 different levels, or 4 levels of which you can understand what the correct body position is. And I will explain you why it makes sense to split it into 4 levels. So number 1 is a level that you can see in a picture. If you see a picture of a pro rider, then you can see, okay, this is what the correct body position, for example, looks like. But it's not the whole story, it's not the full story, because there's a lot of stuff you could see in a video which would show you variations of this position. So in some cases it's more correct to be more forward. In some other cases you will see pro riders be more backwards on the bike. So why is that, right? So that's the second level, is the variations of the correct body position. And then you got the third level and the fourth level. These are things that you cannot see in both video and picture. And that is what I call pressure points and tightness in the body and looseness in the body. So level 3 would be, what's the generally correct way of applying pressure on a bike, and where should you be tight in your body and where should you be loose? That stuff you cannot see in video or pictures, right? So that's the third level, the generally correct way of understanding where to be tight and where to be loose on the bike and in the body. And then there's a fourth level, and that is the variations of tightness and pressure on the bike. So these are the 4 levels, okay? And I'll give you a few examples. Now in level number 1, we know the attack position. It's just like this, elbows out and tight legs and stuff, okay? And then level 2, understanding, is the variations. So if you want more traction, you will move your weight towards the rear. If you're accelerating hard and you got plenty of traction, then you can spend less energy by moving your body towards the front. And you can also adjust how the bike flies by adjusting your body position backwards and forward. So that was level 2.
Now let's talk about level 3 and level 4, about pressure points and tightness and looseness.
For example, with the foot peg pressure, you want to add more foot peg pressure when you're going over bumps. But if you're riding a completely smooth section of the track, usually on the first lap, why not save some energy by not applying foot peg pressure and just sitting on the seat?
So that would be a good example of a variation in the foot peg pressure, where you would not do the generally correct thing.
And then another example of where to be loose. Generally you want to be loose in your arms.
But in special cases where you need extra traction on the rear wheel, you will move your weight towards the back and pull the handlebars, which does spend energy in your arms, and which means you're not being loose in your arms anymore.
And for example, with the tightness of the knees, generally you want to have tight knees, but if you're going over a jump takeoff, you don't need to have that tight knees, because you actually want to give the bike a bit of freedom to move around.
And to do so without throwing your body off balance on the takeoff.
So yeah, overall you've got variations of pressure on the bike and variations in looseness and tightness. For example, if you need to go up a hill that's bumpy and you need more traction, you need to be tight in your arms to pull the handlebars and push into the foot pegs the whole way up the hill. So that's an example where you need to have tightness in the arms and the upper body. But most of the time you want to be loose in the upper body. So that's the final and fourth level of understanding the body position, is the variations in tightness and looseness in the body when you're riding. And we're gonna do a video separately of each one of these levels to get like a really thorough understanding of the body position. But that's actually a long story. But this was just to highlight there's these. It makes sense to divide this understanding into 4 different levels. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you on the next one.